Hello friends, hope you are enjoying the Alec Award winner novel, The Mysterious Call, in voice of the protagonist Richard Carlsen. Here I present the next chapter of this thriller story. And as always, before starting, a small request. Please do like and share this video and do subscribe my channel if not done yet. So, without further ado, let's start the novel. The Mysterious Call.
The Dishevelled Lady. I was back at my police station when Lewis came to me. "We are leaving to arrest Miss Taylor," Louis said. "You are already very late," I objected. "Yes, sir, but I wanted you to meet one person," Lewis said. "Who?" I questioned. "The caretaker," Louis said. Louis then pressed the bell, and a constable came with a middle-aged person, maybe in his late 40s to early 50s, bald hair and a tired face. He seemed to be a person with very little energy. Had he been consuming drugs all his life? His eyes couldn't catch a glimpse properly. He walked haphazardly and reached near my desk. "He is Boris Allen," Louis said. "Okay," I said. "As per the registry document, the property would go to him post the death of Johnson Allen," Louis said with pride. I had a small grin. "Good job, Louis. Now you go and get Miss Taylor. She is at my house. Leave Mr. Boris Allen in my good company," I said. "Thanks, sir," Louis said, and left the room. I gestured Boris to sit down in the chair in front of me. My cabin was larger than the usual inspector's cabin, and even I have a sofa set. However, I preferred to sit and interact at my table. "So, are you related to the late Johnson Allen?" I asked. "Yes, sir," Boris said in a dull voice. He was not interested in the questioning. "Where do you stay?" "Edinburgh." "How often do you come here?" "Whenever Mr. Johnson Allen would ask. He would pay me $50 for each visit." "And generally, what were your instructions?" "Nothing much," Boris said. He was trembling. It seemed he was an extreme drug addict. Johnson Allen used to give him drugs in addition to the small change. "Still, what was that? Nothing much?" I insisted. "To take care of the daffodil plants, the 4 floors." "There are no daffodils there," I intervened. "Sir, there are a few at the back." "Okay, you used to water them." "Yes, sir. Also, whatever the learned lady would tell me, I would trim them." "Learned lady?" I questioned. He seemed lost. I took the file and opened the page where I had kept a picture of Miss Lakshmi Trust. I showed him the picture and asked, "Is she the learned lady?" "Yes, sir," Boris responded, though he was sweating and trembling badly. I knew I could not question him much in this state. I pressed a button, and a constable came. "Do we have the seized boat and the salts in our custody?" I questioned hurriedly. "Yes, sir," the constable responded. "Good. Get a sachet of salt and bring it to me immediately." "Sir, that is evidence," the constable protested. "I said go and get it," I shouted. "Okay, sir. It is stored in a warehouse nearby. I will get it." The constable saluted and left in a jiffy. "Don't worry. I got what you want," I said to Boris. He nodded. He was trembling badly and his legs were shaking. "Okay, tell me one thing. What all did that lady ask you, and since when?" "The lady used to come there along with Mr. Allen. They would always come together. She would pluck the plants and seed a new one." "Oh. How much time would it take for the bulb to appear and for it to flower?" I asked. "Around 12 weeks, he said. Now he was shivering badly. "So every time the flower is ripe enough, Lakshmi Trust would pluck the entire plant." Boris nodded. I took a mental note. It meant that the flower was required to keep on growing because its latex and flower juice could be used only when it is completely uprooted. Furthermore, Lakshmi would do partial experiments only here, and she would work mostly on the plantation fields of Andrew Carlsen. The constable had arrived with a sachet of salt that we had seized on the boat a few days ago. I gave the sachet to Boris. Boris opened it up haphazardly and put the content in his mouth. It gave him the satisfaction of life. His trembling stopped, and his sweating did too. He was feeling comfortable, and his face had a visible sense of satisfaction. Boris was extremely addicted to drugs. Maybe Louis had caught him 24 hours ago, and that's why Boris did not have drugs for many hours, and his body was craving for it. Okay, you may go. Thanks, you gave me this, Boris said, showing the sachet. It is all right. You can get the seeds of that plant in the basement of the bungalow if you are interested, Boris said, getting up and leaving. No, I don't need the seeds, I said. Wait a minute, you said basement. I was shocked. Yes, sir. Boris stood at the gate. There was a basement in bungalow number 9, I asked surprisingly. Yes, sir. Can you show me? Yes, sir. I was shocked. I rushed immediately with Boris. My Vauxhall Astra was repaired to an extent, and I was happy to note that. I pushed Boris into my car, and we both immediately rushed to the bungalow. I was at the bungalow number 9, and there were police constables and barricade tape. Boris and I went inside the bungalow. Boris led me to the staircase, and at the half-turn landing, where I had found the Alpha Combat, Boris jumped, holding on to the handrail. He jumped once, twice, and thrice, and with the third jump, the wall in front gave way, revealing another staircase below. The wall just opposite the internal staircase had a hidden door to the basement. Surprising. I looked at Boris Allen in complete dismay, as if was saying I couldn't figure that out. We both descended the stairs and rushed to that open area, continuing down towards the basement. Boris guided me through the dark area and stairs, which had a peculiar curve. Boris then pressed some button, and the place lit up. It was a huge space, and I had not seen this place before. It seemed that when I arrived, the people inside were hiding here. Perhaps one person was with Lisa, holding her at gunpoint or something. The basement was large and contained many seeds of Lakshmi plants, as Boris had mentioned. Additionally, there was a table and a chair, along with numerous envelopes and letters. These letters were from Sarah Taylor and were sent to different addresses. What did it mean? I checked the envelopes and a letter inside. It appeared that these were the customers or the drug dealers. I found one with Mariana's address as well. These people would then give money to Sarah Taylor, and she would indicate whom to supply the drugs to through these letters. The letters had different numbers of pages. It seemed to be a customer greeting page. These letters were sent to this bungalow. Johnson Allen would come here occasionally, see these letters, and accordingly supply the drugs from his warehouse. This was a unique way to distribute drugs. Is there any exit from the basement directly outside? I questioned. Yes, Boris said. He took me to the other side of the basement where there was another curved staircase. I followed Boris up the staircase. He reached the top and gave 3 punches, one after the other, and the floor slid aside. He got up and gestured for me to come up. We were near the place where the BMW E21 car was parked. Now, I understood the entire game. These people were hiding here, and then they went to the other side and left in the BMW E21. Boris was extremely helpful, looking at me with great expectation. Don't worry, I will give you 2 more sachets for this help, I said. Boris was elated and happy. I was now in shock, and we returned to the police station. I kept thinking that day I should have seen this basement as well. I must have pushed the girl inside and arrested those people. Then I would have prevented 2 murders from happening. I gave Boris 2 more sachets and asked him to leave. In the meantime, I didn't realize that Louis had come to the police station with Miss Taylor. There was a huge commotion outside the police station. Many media persons were asking why an innocent civilian, a housewife, and that too, of a missing police officer's wife, had been arrested. Louis wanted to handle the media. However, I indicated that I would take them on. I went outside, and the media was ready with various questions. There was a loud buzzing sound of various reporters, cameras were on, and many seasoned journalists had gathered at the scene. The lane outside the police station was cramped due to the presence of so many people. One of the reporters shouted, "Is this how low the London police have stooped down? There are no arrests for the double murder in bungalow number 9, but an innocent civilian is arrested." Let me state that Miss Taylor has been arrested because we wanted to investigate this case from all angles, I replied. Why arrest her? She would have cooperated, another reporter stated. Well, I guess you don't doubt our actions. We know what we are doing, I responded calmly. From your actions, it seems like a cover-up. A cop is missing, and you've arrested his wife, another journalist said. Let me state that I am very close to solving this case. I know who the boss is, the hidden mastermind, the kingpin behind London Mafia. There was complete silence. If you have the mastermind, tell us now, one of the journalists shouted, so that the mastermind can run away. Is that you want? I countered. But, the journalist started to retort, but I shouted before he could speak. If all of you can wait for just a couple of days, let me reassure you, you will see the end of the drug mafia. It's a story you would not believe, a puzzle unsolved till now. The journalist didn't know what to say. The police inspector was asking a short time. I will request you all to give me some time, and I will present to you the story of your life. I concluded and got up to return. I left and returned inside. The sound of journalists leaving one by one could be heard in the background. Lewis was there beside me. He asked, "Why did you let that Boris Allen go?" He was useful, thanks, but he was an extremely small fry, a victim of drugs himself. What? I thought he was the murderer. No, Louis. Have you not seen him? He was dull, lethargic, and non-violent. I agree. The crime was committed with brutal force, smashing the heads of sexagenarian people. A crime like that was not something Boris Allen would do. Okay, I thought since the property was to devolve on him. No, Louis, I cut him off. The property was not supposed to devolve to him. That assistant registrar played a trick. Louis was shocked to hear this. But I am glad you got this person. He was very helpful to our cause. I guess when the intent is right, even the gods try to help us. Louis was still in shock and not entirely clear about what I wanted to convey. I left him and soon joined Miss Taylor where she was being held. There were female constables and Miss Taylor appeared petrified. I know you are innocent, I reassured her. Then, she could hardly utter a word. I gestured to the female constables and asked them to bring water. You want to meet Watson, right? I asked. She nodded. Believe me, Watson himself will come to meet you now. She was shocked and didn't believe me. She looked into my eyes and then she sighed. I held her hands and stroked them gently. Even Louis and the constables were confused. I had arrested someone, but I was treating her as if she were a friend's wife. So why had I arrested her in the first place? Alex also had come to the station. He inquired, "Sir, what is the purpose of arresting?" "To get to Watson," I answered before Alex could complete his sentence. "Okay, what's next?" "We have to go to another address in Edinburgh." "Again, to Edinburgh." "Yes, I'm ready." "Then let's go." Alex, while driving, said, "I just don't understand one thing." "I can guess," I said. "What?" Alex said and stared at me. I gestured for him to concentrate on the long road. "You are worried about why we're going to Polwarth." "Yes, because Nicholas had said so. But he had plainly lied. Why would he help us?" "Tell me one thing, Alex." "Yes. If you were Nicholas, what would you have done?" "I would have run away from the hospital. I don't think he couldn't manage to run away." "Exactly, but he was there." "So what? That means he had no place to go." "You said that he was sure that if he goes out in the open, the Mafia would kill him," Alex asked. "Yes, because the Mafia was not yet aware Nicholas had been caught and was in the hospital. They would come to know eventually, but as of now, they are not aware. Now, if he runs and goes to his usual hideouts, the Mafia would know about it soon and possibly kill him." "But how does it make sense to go to Polwarth?" "Dear Alex, you are missing the point. Think as Nicholas." "I got it." "Good. If I am Nicholas and I want to run from this hospital, I need to go to someplace secure. But before I can go there, I need to ensure that those whom I fear are neutralized. The best option is to let the most feared cop, the great Richard Carlsen, go after that person." "Great, Alex. Sir, you are exceptional. You can think of things that a normal mortal can't even dream. Thanks, Alex. Now speed up. We are a bit late. Alex drove the entire 400 or so miles distance, covering the entire trip in around 8 hours. In the past few days, we had traveled between London and Edinburgh twice, a remarkable amount of long-distance travel for my career. During this journey, I had time to make mental notes and connect the various dots that were scattered about. I was trying to piece together the complete story. In the midst of this, I realized that I hadn't informed Emily that I was heading to Scotland. It was a sudden decision. Alex, stop whenever you think it's convenient. I need to tell Emily that I am in Scotland, I said. There is a petrol station nearby. I will stop there and you can make the call, Alex responded. I contemplated for a moment and then changed my mind. Well, let's finish the meeting at Polwarth, I said while lighting my Havana cigar. Why? Emily would be extremely worried, Alex insisted. I know. Something is telling me that we should not stop before Polwarth. It's one of those premonitions. You continue, I said authoritatively. Alex nodded and continued at a brisk pace on that long highway. Soon, we arrived at Polwarth. It was almost midnight when we entered the area. The place was deserted. The one-story building, which appeared devoid of human presence, stood tall. It was built on a plot of around 280 square yards, I would guess. Alex and I were cautious, each holding our respective firearms in hand, ready for action. We could see that the building had a small window, and both of us entered the building through that open window. It was dark, so I switched on my lighter, and we took measured steps. We entered a living room, and from there, we moved into another room that looked like a bedroom. I sensed a person sleeping on the bed, so we entered carefully with Alex following me. We found a switchboard and turned on the light. Alex shouted, "Hands up!" The person who was sleeping got up. He was shocked to see 2 police personnel at that hour in his bedroom. He was petrified and shaken. We could see he was a sexagenarian. We gestured for him to get up, and slowly he got up from his bed. "Who else is there in the house?" I shouted. "No one," the old man said it with bated breath. I gestured to Alex, and soon he went into other rooms and switched on all the lights. It was a 3-bedroom house with a living room and a kitchen. "There ain't no one," Alex said. We took the old man to the living room and made him sit on the sofa comfortably. Alex got some water for him. "I am Richard Carlsen, Senior Police Inspector, London Police," I said. "Okay," replied the old man. "May I know your name, please, sir?" I asked politely. "Craig Smith." "Do you know any Nicholas?" I asked. "No, I've never heard that name before." The person replied. I was not sure why Nicholas had given this address. Did he play us? It was a fake address. "I hope Alexander has not done anything wrong again," the old man replied. "Alexander?" I asked, surprised. The old man indicated in a photograph that was fixed there on the wall. It was him and Alexander. I got a shocker. Alexander looked like the same person as the second security guard, barring the facial scar. "You are the father of Alexander?" I asked. "Grandfather. His parents died when he was just 15, the old man replied. I took the photo frame and handed it over to Alex. "You know that your grandson is working with the mafia?" I said it with intent and purpose. "Officer, he was helping the poor child." "Poor child?" I questioned. "Lisa," the old man said. "Lisa, you mean Lisa Ross?" I said. "Yes." "Daughter of Sam Ross?" I asked. "Yes." "How does Alexander know Lisa Ross?" "Both of them were in college together at the University of Edinburgh." "What? Can you tell me where Alexander is?" "I don't know. I met him about a week ago." "What did he say?" "He said he was going to meet someone named VJ at Allen Manufacturing. There was something big going on, involving drugs, and he said he had to help Lisa." "Was Lisa his girlfriend?" I asked. "Well, at least a good friend, from what I know." "Is there any other close friend of theirs? Another boy?" I asked. "I suppose you are talking about Stuart." "Stuart!" I exclaimed. Stuart was very close to Alexander and Lisa. He worked for Carlsen Marine and Transport as a driver, driving their trucks. He wanted to make a lot of money and thus worked overtime. I looked at Alex, and he understood. The first security guard whom I met was Stewart, and the second was Alexander. Do you have any pictures of Stewart? I asked. Yes, the old man replied. He got up and went to his bedroom, returning with an album containing many pictures of Lisa, Alexander, and Stewart having a good time together. Did anyone come to threaten Alexander? I asked. Yes, someone came a few days ago and threatened to kill me, the old man said. What? I exclaimed. Yes, he wanted Alexander to do something. I knew he was blackmailing him. Can you describe that person? He looked like a person of Indian descent, the old man said. Vijay, I said spontaneously. You rest here. Let me get that person for you. Don't worry. Nothing will happen to Alexander, I assured him. Alex and I left the place with a picture of Alexander and Stewart from the album. Where to? Alex asked. Allen Manufacturing, I said. What will we get there? I don't know, but if I'm not wrong, we might get the address of Vijay. From where? Do you remember Vijay showed us the administrative building? It might have records. But won't they destroy it? No, they don't know that we have Nicholas with us. They don't know we've met Craig Smith. They don't know that we will raid Allen Manufacturing. And after our last satisfactory visit, they'll be a bit off guard. Yes, and now they'll be thinking that we're investigating Miss Taylor. But you haven't told Emily. Don't you think she'll be worried? Alex said, wondering why I hadn't informed Emily that it would take time. I had been away from home since morning, and it was now almost 1 o'clock at night. Yes, Alex, let me call her. Stop near a telephone booth. I called home, and the phone rang, but no one answered. I checked my wristwatch. It was 1:30 in the morning. I dialed again, but there was no response. I couldn't understand why Emily wasn't at home. Where could she have gone at this late hour? Something didn't feel right. What happened? You look troubled, Alex asked. Emily didn't answer the call, I said. At this hour, she's not at home, Alex exclaimed. I'm not sure. Let me call Melvin and ask him to check, I said. I returned to the phone booth and dialed Melvin's house number. Hello? Melvin's half-awake voice answered. Melvin, I need a personal favor, I said. Yes, sir, Melvin replied immediately, his voice becoming more alert. Please go to my home and check whether Emily is all right, I requested. Okay, sir. I'll call my house again in about another hour or so. You be there, I instructed. I will be, sir, don't worry. My Ducati is the fastest, he reassured me. Thank you, I said and ended the call. Why do you think Emily may be in danger? Alex asked, looking at my worried expression. I don't know, Alex. Watson could take Emily hostage to force me to leave Miss Taylor. What? Would Watson stoop that low? Alex questioned, his tone filled with anger. I'm not sure. Let's go to Allen Manufacturing, I said. We reached the facility, and to our surprise, there was no guard standing there. We sneaked through the outer gate and went straight to the administrative building. There was a room where the lights were on, and we could feel the presence of many people. I and Alex were on our guard. We slowly moved with measured steps. We reached the entrance of the room, which was open, and we peeped inside. Both Alex and I were wondering who was there when a voice came from behind us. Drop your weapons, officers! I and Alex both could feel that some gun was pinching our backs. We dropped our guns and turned. It was Henry Walter who was standing in front of us, along with Sarah Taylor, his daughter. He had 2 Alpha Combats in his hands. I and Alex were shocked. I was not that surprised knowing that he was alive. Knowing I would see him here like this, though, was a big surprise. He gestured, and we both started moving inside the room. We saw Vijay standing with another Alpha Combat in his hand, and Lisa Ross, Stewart, and Alexander were sitting on the chair. It seemed they had received a brutal beating. Lisa had no clothes on her body, and it meant she was exploited badly by Vijay and Henry Walter. Stewart and Alexander were also brutally beaten up. Finally, I could see the disheveled lady who had the guts to take on the mafia. Henry Walter gestured, and I was made to sit on a chair, as was Alex. Sarah Taylor also came inside. The great Carlsen, finally we could meet. Did I surprise you? Henry Walter said. No, Walter, I knew you were the one who killed Andrew. What? Walter was surprised. I could deduce easily, I said. You are a genius. You must work with us, Henry said. Thanks for the offer, but I know your entire game now, I said. Is it so? Then tell us. Henry said it astonishingly. He had a certain pride in his statement. Henry was a well-built, middle-aged man. He was muscular and strong, and his bluish eyes made him look elegant. He was wearing a casual button-down Burberry shirt and Calvin Klein jeans. The Rolex Datejust two-tone was shimmering delightfully on his left hand. He was looking like a rich mafia lord who was in complete command of things. I will, Henry, but first, let these 3 innocent children go, I said, pointing towards Lisa, Stuart, and Alexander. No, growled Henry. They are not innocent. This bitch caused irreparable harm to me. I know that, but still I insist. Ha ha ha, Henry laughed loudly. You insist. I think you have not seen where you are at my mercy, Henry shouted. I can only request. The rest is up to you, I said. Okay, let's do a deal. If you could tell me about what you've deduced, maybe I can consider letting your wish come true. I cleared my throat and got up from my seat. I took my police jacket and gave it to Lisa. She was now covered properly. I sat back in my seat. Henry Walter and Sarah exchanged looks, and both of them had hatred for Lisa and nothing else. It was simple, Henry. You and Watson were hands in gloves. Your daughter Sarah had told you that Lakshmi had made this great discovery. Even Lakshmi wanted to deal in drugs. She attempted it also, but failed. Wow, your start is good, Henry said in between. It was at that time that Lisa met Lakshmi and they met Sam Ross. Sam wanted to get into the business of drugs. He wanted to eliminate you completely. He committed a mistake and took the help of Andrew Carlsen, who was a good friend of yours, and Johnson Allen. You and Watson made the plan and killed Sam. Yes, I asked Andrew to let Sam come to the warehouse that day. I told Watson to conduct the raid. Watson came while I and Andrew held Sam, and then Watson killed him with a bullet. We dropped the huge acid on Sam. Sam had kept huge amounts of acid stored in warehouse as he wanted to use them for camouflaging drugs. It was such an apt death for him, Henry Walter said in a straight voice. He had such a deep satisfaction saying that he had planned so well to kill his fiercest competition. You got the hint that police might know about Lakshmi Trust and her meeting you, so you ensured that Sam Ross died and it was believed that Henry Walter died, so that even that angle of drug getting camouflaged is not investigated further. I continued. You are brilliant, Carlsen, Henry Walter exclaimed. He continued, Lakshmi Trust got arrested while trying to sell camouflaged drugs and police got a hint of such a mischief. But with the news of my death, this news died down. This was also one of the reasons why I wanted to show that Henry Walter died and not Sam Ross. Obviously, the other reason was to control the arms supply business. You then declared yourself Sam Ross and usurped the Alpha Combat business also. You never worked directly but let the daughter Lisa be the middle person. I continued. All was going well when this stupid brainless bitch decided to double-cross. Henry growled and slapped her. But why Lisa was working with you when she knew that you were not Sam Ross? I questioned. That is what you have to answer. The great Carlsen. She never intended to work with you. She wanted to destroy you. Her working with you was just a ploy, I said. Wow, you are brilliant. She worked with you to know all the secrets and then she wanted to exploit, I said. I waited for a minute and then continued my monologue. The drama of Sarah and Lisa's fight was also to just mislead people into thinking that Sarah was disturbed. You are good, Henry Walter said. She worked 1 year for you, and that's when she even introduced Alexander and Stuart, her 2 besties in the team. They all got to know your secrets. Everything. That's when they knew that Sarah was telling you the address by sending post. Lisa wanted to tell everything to the police. She told Forbes, you got the shock of your life. Yes. But you committed a mistake. Here, Johnson Allen and Andrew, they also grew greedy. Even Lakshmi wanted a larger slice. They knew that it was they only who could work this magic. It was at that time you decided to kill Johnson Allen and Lakshmi Trust and put the blame on Lisa, Stewart, and Alexander. That's why they were called there. Good Lord, how could you guess so well? He is Richard Carlsen, not a dumbass like you. Alex intervened in between. Henry hit Alex with the butt of his alpha combat, and Alex cried in pain. His lips got cut by the fierce blow. You continue, great Carlsen, Henry said. But before you wanted to kill them, you wanted to have a final negotiation. In that meantime, Lisa called me. Watson and I arrived there, and you got surprised. You had little time. You told Stewart and Alexander to play ball, else you would kill Lisa, and also you threatened to kill the grandpa of Alexander. You know about Craig too. You are exceptional, Henry said. Not only this, Sarah forced Alexander to give a contract for my killing to Nicholas, and also to make changes in the registry office so that if ever things went wrong, Alexander would get arrested. Smart, Henry said. You, after killing Johnson Allen and Lakshmi, hid in the basement, and from there you ran away. I heard a yowl, but that was because you punched the door hard and hurt yourself while coming up from the ground. You, Lisa, Alexander, and Stewart, along with Watson, ran away from the surrogate tunnel, which opened at the parked car. You all sat and ran away. But somehow, Lisa managed to escape in the melee. You did not want to take chances as I was around. You let Lisa go. Lisa then made a call to Forbes twice. Lisa understood that I was there to help you genuinely. But we have got this dumb girl. You can see she had been treated nicely by me and VJ. Henry laughed, looking at her. I don't understand when Lisa was at loose how she again got in your grasp. So you, the great Carlsen, don't have all the answers. Good, so I don't have to honor my words. Henry peevishly said. Henry, I shouted. This stupid girl. Henry walked towards Lisa and pulled the jacket I had given her. Lisa was totally naked, and that distracted the attention of both Henry and VJ. It gave Alex and me just that split second, and that was enough. I pounced upon Henry and Alex on VJ. I landed a karate chop on Henry's nape. Henry cried in pain. His alpha combat dropped. Alex also, with a swift action, twisted VJ's arm and made him drop his gun. Before Henry or VJ could do anything or call their stooges, Alex fired at VJ's both legs kneecap. VJ cried in extreme pain. I also did the same with Henry. I fired at the two legs and the kneecaps were shattered. Henry was in extreme pain. Henry committed a mistake of not doing the same with us when he had both me and Alex in captivity. Our training was that in such cases, never waste time in side talks but neutralize the enemy ASAP. The gunshots attracted a few of the goons, but Henry and VJ both were lying on the ground bleeding, and we had the guns pointed at their heads. That was enough to give cold shivers to all of them. Sarah was in shock. She had never seen such brutal police officers who never thought twice before shooting. Sarah wanted to run away, but Alex fired at her leg. She cried in pain. Henry shouted, "No, Sarah, my child!" Alex hit Henry as brutally as he could. Henry could not understand how things have changed in a jiffy. He underestimated both me and Alex. What he did not know was that we were extremely good in close-quarter battles. Before anyone could understand anything, Alex fired another shot at VJ's thighs. Alex growled, "One wrong step, and Henry, VJ, and Sarah all will be dead." VJ was in extreme pain and bleeding profusely. If he was not given medical treatment in a short time, he would definitely die a painful death. Henry had seen the devil in Alex. He did not want to take a chance. Someone who, without provocation, can shoot bullets in their legs could do anything if provoked. "Henry, if you don't want to die, ask your stooges to arrange for a car," I shouted. Henry gestured to one of his persons. I got Henry and Sarah as well as Lisa in one car. Both Henry and Sarah were bleeding profusely. Alex got VJ, Alexander, and Stewart in his own Astra. Soon we reached the Edinburgh hospital, and we got Henry, VJ, and Sarah admitted. I called Forbes from the hospital, and surprisingly, even at that hour, Forbes picked up the call. He was aware that such a thing could happen. "Sir, I have got Henry Walter arrested," I said. Henry Walter, Forbes said, shocked to hear that. Yes, it is a long story, but right now I have called because I need help. I could have fathomed that. When you said you want to go alone, I have told my friend in Scotland. Where are you? Forbes said in an assuring tone. Sir, in the Edinburgh Central Hospital. Need backup. It is reaching in 15 minutes. Just hold the fort till then, Forbes said, and cut the call. I could feel the sense of pride in his tone. He was happy that I had done this all alone. Forbes always had admired me as I get the results. Soon, a contingent of Scotland police came and they took over. Lisa, the disheveled lady, hugged me extremely tightly. I also hugged her hard. I then gestured Alex to drop Alexander and Stuart at their home. Alex left. I then went to call my home. It was more than an hour. Melvin would be waiting for my call. I dialed and the call was answered. I almost fainted hearing the voice from the other side. You wanted your wife? Watson shouted over the phone. Watson? I said, shocked. What are you doing in my home? Where are Emily and Melvin? Melvin is dead, Watson said in a dry, stoic voice. No. It was shocking news for me. Melvin was a young, vibrant boy. Watson, I will kill you if something happens to Emily, I shouted in a fierce tone. You come here as fast as you can. Bring my wife. Give happiness, take happiness, Watson shouted and cut the call. I was shocked. Watson killed Melvin. What had happened to him? I could never imagine Watson like this. Was Watson the real kingpin? I dialed Louis. He answered the call as usual in one ring, even at this hour. Louis, Melvin is dead. Watson had killed him, and now Watson has kept Emily at gunpoint, I said, before Louis could have asked anything. What? Louis was shocked. I need your help. I will send a force to your house, Louis responded. No, I shouted. Okay, sir. What do you want from me? Louis said. I will handle Watson alone. That is my personal fight. But I am in Edinburgh. Can you ensure that no one leaves from my house till I arrive? Okay, sir. Let me arrange something. Thanks, Louis, I said politely and cut the call. Alex had come to the hospital by then. I told him everything and asked him to be careful. Though now the Scotland Yard was there, Alex was still required to explain the situation. I rushed to my car and saw Lisa standing at the hospital gate. She was in the police jacket I had given her. I waved to her to say goodbye. Please take me with you, Lisa pleaded. I was not sure why she wanted to come with me, but I could understand her state of mind. At this hour, she had no place to go. She was also a prime witness, and it was my duty to protect her. Okay, hop in, I said, waving my hand. Soon, I was rushing towards London. It was a long, long journey, almost 8 to 9 hours, and I knew that Watson would hold on to Emily, even for an old friendship. Are you all right? I asked Lisa. Yes. I'm sorry you have to go through this. I am okay, Richard. In fact, I am happy that you are such an exceptional detective. I made a mistake by not relying on you that day. I am sorry, I said surprisingly. You were right. After the death of my father, I joined Henry Walter. He also needed me because he wanted to capture the arms market as well. Sam Ross's loyalist wouldn't support him if he had declared that he had killed Sam Ross. Thus, he used me. I was the one who was handling the arms business. Walter, with the help of Ross's name and sending me to do the deals, slowly captured the drugs and arms mafia. I was with him until I learned the secrets. Johnson Allen, Lakshmi, and Andrew. They were all with Walter. They were making lots of money. I slowly gathered proof. I made Alexander and Stuart part of the team. When I learned enough, I sent a report to Forbes and told him about the trucks. But didn't Walter come to know it was you? No, the only mistake I made was with Watson. But when you were with Henry for so long, you should have known that Watson was his man. I knew that, but someone made me believe that Watson was a double agent. He was a police guy acting to be with Walter like I. Oh, that's why you met Watson. Yes, I told Watson that Johnson, Allen, and Lakshmi were planning to double-cross Walter. Watson, instead of helping me, took me, Alexander, and Stuart to bungalow number 9. The plan was simple. Kill Johnson, Allen, and Lakshmi, blame it on Alexander and Stuart. I was not sure what they had planned for me. But then you called me. I came. The person who made me believe that Watson was a double agent was so close to you that I thought you and Watson are together in this and I did not allow you in. I was at gunpoint anyway. Understood. And who was this close person of mine?